Ladies and gentlemen, today we are back on the Homegrown Network. This popped up on my algorithm. I must have to reset my YouTube algorithm. But David Carr is ranking the best and worst quarterback fits from the 2025 NFL Draft. Now, when I saw this come through, I was like, there's no way. There's no way he's going to rank Tyler Shough. Like, that's such a can of worms. Like, it's such a weird topic and situation. Like, in order for David to rate Tyler, he would obviously have to talk about the Derek Carr situation. So he does rank Tyler Shough, or talks about Tyler Shough's fit and whatnot with New Orleans. So we're gonna watch it, and I might give a little advice to David and Derek for the Homegrown Network. It's shocking what they have going on there, but I think I can help them out. All right, I think I can help.
Tyler Shough went to New Orleans. Welcome to the Saints, Tyler. Fantastic. So here's what I like about this. All right, we know that Derek's dealing with his shoulder. They're trying to figure out, is it surgery, is it not surgery? Can we rehab, get ready for the season? What's going to happen there? We don't really know. I'm just being honest. Derek doesn't know. The Saints are trying to figure it out. They're working together. But the reality is that he might not be ready for the season to start.
I honestly feel like I'm in a fever dream or something watching this. Like, it's insane. Like, don't look at me like that, David. Like, really think about what we have going on here. Tyler Shough is in New Orleans. Spencer Rattler has not left the facility. Kellen Moore and everyone's getting ready to roll. There's off-season workouts happening. I just saw a video of Talise Fuaga front squatting. Got me fired up. I'm about to go to the gym. All right. And then David and Derek are dropping these little golden tidbits on their YouTube channel or on the NFL Network or wherever. It's almost like, and maybe I'm off base here. I highly doubt it. I feel like every single person in the world believes that Derek is not going to be playing for the New Orleans Saints next year, except David and Derek Carr. I mean, like, even this right here. It's May 6th. We don't know if Derek is going to have surgery. We don't know if Derek's going to rehab and be ready for the season. We don't know what's going on with his shoulder. The Saints don't know. Derek doesn't know. No one knows. I mean, this is up there with Bigfoot. This is up there with the Loch Ness Monster. All right? I mean, this is one of the biggest mysteries ever. Is what is the injury with Derek Carr's shoulder and what's going to happen? And we've got, it's May, June, July. We have 3 months to figure it out. We have 90 days to figure it out. How much longer could he possibly say that they don't know what's going on with the shoulder? Because if it's August and you're like, yeah, we don't know. It might be surgery, it might not be. It's probably too late. It's like, okay, well, we're playing football. Like, preseason has started. June is pretty late. June is pretty late to not know at all the severity of the injury or the process of rehabbing or playing or whatnot.
So what do you have to do? What do you do if you're that Saints team? All right, if you're Mickey. You go out there and you find a veteran quarterback in the draft. That's smart. Not expensive like a veteran quarterback around there. 25, 26, played a ton of football. He's seen a lot of football. Great processor. I think it's a great fit for Kellen Moore to come in, compete with those other two quarterbacks. All right, we like those other two quarterbacks a lot. Obviously, Derek's teammates. But I think.
So the other two quarterbacks obviously are Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener. Jake Haener might be behind the camera for all I know. But it is interesting that David mentioned that, Shuck will compete with Rattler and Haener and not with Derek. Now, on one hand, that could mean, because Derek's not going to be in the building. Or it means that there is no competition. If Derek is ready to play, Derek's going to play. All right? I'm not going to say it's a Freudian slip, but it is something. The idea that the Saints drafted a quarterback 40th overall, and David's like, yeah, he'll compete with Rattler and Haener, but, not with Derek. So, kind of interesting. It's also kind of an insane way to think about it that they drafted Tyler Shough because Derek's hurt, and he's like a veteran backup, basically. I mean, let me re-listen to it. Is that what he said? Tyler Shough's basically a veteran backup?
If you're Mickey. You go out there and you find a veteran quarterback in the draft. That's smart. Not expensive like a veteran quarterback around there. 25, 26, played a ton of football. He's seen a lot of football. Great processor. I think it's a great fit for Kellen Moore.
Yeah, so he's basically saying, like, yeah, go get you a veteran, stopgap veteran, and then we'll see what happens with Derek. Now, is this delusional? Does he realize that Tyler Shough was drafted to be the starting quarterback and to be the franchise quarterback and to compete with Spencer Rattler and not so much Jake Haener, but to compete with Spencer Rattler and see which of those two will be the guy moving forward. Like, this is the part where I think Derek and Aaron Rodgers, to a certain extent, I think they're a little confused of a lot of these teams' processes, where there's not a lot of teams who are looking for the services of Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers. And the longer this goes, I'll go ahead and tell you exactly what's going to happen. The longer this goes, the further away from a starting job Derek and Aaron Rodgers are going to go. If the season begins and neither one of those two guys are on a team, or neither of them have a starting situation, these teams are just going to move on. I believe the Saints have moved on. I believe the Saints are ready to roll with Tyler Shough. They're ready to roll with Spencer Rattler, whoever wins camp. I believe a lot of these other teams are ready to roll with their quarterbacks. Teams are ramping up. Like, teams are moving forward with the season. We're getting there. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr just kind of expect like everything to stop and wait for them to find a spot or get on a team or work their stuff out or whatever. But there's really only one landing spot, and that's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the only team that either one of these two guys I think could go to, and with kind of open arms. I don't think any other team would has a spot. I don't think any other team would either A, have a spot, or B, do what it takes to bring either of them in to be a starter. And we're getting up against that clock to where, with Derek specifically, we have to have, in the next 60 to 90 days, we have to figure out what the injury is. We have to go through the full rehab process, whatever that is. And then he's got to be on whatever team he's going to be on. Or he's not going to play. It's as simple as that. And if he doesn't play, it's hard to imagine he finds himself in a starting spot again. Same to Aaron Rodgers.
Or to come in, compete with those other two quarterbacks, all right? We like those other two quarterbacks a lot. Obviously, Derek's teammates. But I think that's going to be a great quarterback room. It's going to be very competitive because they're still young, but they've played a lot. So it's kind of interesting dynamic because, you know, you got two young quarterbacks that have played a little bit, and then you got Tyler coming in who's played a lot in college, hasn't really played in the NFL. So interesting quarterback room.
Yeah, hadn't really played in the NFL. He's a rookie, but it is an interesting quarterback room with just Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough. It's not really an interesting quarterback room with Jake Haener, but, you know, David has kind of isolated Derek out of the quarterback room, which he kind of is isolated out of the quarterback room. You know, like, it's such a weird thing to see him talk about Shuck and talk about the Saints while Derek is the highest paid player on the team, but without any real expectation for Derek to play for the team.
I think it's going to be a great spot. I think he will get reps. I think this could even be a great fit for the Saints. So
will get reps, brother. He's going to be the starting quarterback. What do you mean he will get reps? He will be the starter. As of right now, unless Spencer Rattler beats him out, he will be the starting quarterback. I mean, I honestly don't know. It honestly is kind of shocking because I can't decide if I believe that David believes that Derek will play for the Saints. Like, we'll see, you know. But in reality, Tyler Shough was drafted and is right now planned to be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, with the only person that can change that being Spencer Rattler. I guess in some insane alternate dimension, Derek Carr could change that if he shows up ready to roll for practice. But yeah, the idea that, like, yeah, he'll get some reps. What?
Oh, good job, Tyler. Congratulations. Welcome to New Orleans.
Congrats. It's kind of crazy when you look at sports media. It's kind of insane. It really shows. We're going to talk about sports media for a second here, but it kind of shows the shift. Like, when you look at, like, here's a little advice for the Homegrown network. I like what they're trying to do. I respect it. They're, you know, a few years too late, but what they need to do first is take that $250 million of resources or whatever they have together, and they need to build out a room in their compound for a studio. Go look at Dan Patrick's old studio. Go look at Pat McAfee's studio. Build that out. I know the Homegrown Network wants to do a bunch of different channels, like a card channel, a outdoors channel, some other stuff. Build that out in one central location. This, I'm not even sure what I'm looking at. Like a fireplace wall, some side wall thing. This ain't it. Okay? This ain't it. Get you a green screen. Have that on one side of the room. Do film study or game watch-alongs or whatever on one area. Do your card opening in one area. Have your editing in one area. Have it all set up. Do it that way. Like, the equipment is very easy to buy. It's very accessible. If you need me to tell you what to do, David, send me a DM. Okay, but it really shows you. Like, I was thinking about this during the draft, but there's a lot of like radio stations and newspapers and big publications that cover the NFL, specifically the Saints. And you watch them during the draft, and I'm sure, like, if you're watching from New Orleans, you'll know like what I'm kind of talking about here. But like, just between me and I know like Trace, because I know he did like all those live streams, you could find content virtually every single second of draft weekend. Like, I mean, let's just take me out of the equation. But like Trace, that channel probably put out like 25 videos over the weekend and probably 20 more hours of live streams. And then you got some other old school media who they'll do like one video a day, a video on this draft pick. Like, I know some stations that are like flagship stations that did like 3 videos over draft weekend, or newspapers that did like one story, or even some of the radio stations, even some of the YouTube channels that waited like 24 hours to do a video on Tyler Shough or on Kelvin Banks or whatever. Everything is so fast now and it's so rapid. I mean, it is moving very quickly. Very, very quickly in YouTube. And it's kind of crazy because, like, I mean, David was a former first overall pick. Derek, whatever it is, 11-year NFL starter, both very accomplished. David works for the NFL Network. Like, these guys have NFL chops, media chops, whatever. But they are getting smoked in this world, in YouTube. It's tough out here. It is tough. I mean, it's probably easy to think like, yeah, I'm an NFL quarterback, former first overall pick. I'm on the NFL Network. I'll just pop on, hit a YouTube channel. I'll get 50, 60, 70,000, 80,000 views on my, easy, no problem. So, David, send me a DM. Let me get your stuff straight. Let me get it all situated. Let me give you all some advice. I'll send you all some product reviews. Get thumbnails. Get AI can build out your thumbnails. Do something. All right.
For the Saints. So good job, Tyler. Congratulations. Welcome to New Orleans. All right, next one. Let's go to Dylan Gabriel.
Okay, all right, we're going to end it there. Kind of wild. I don't know. Homegrown Network, ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.